Welcome to the Doghouse. I'm Brisco.
And I'm Richard.
And today is...
who cares about what day it is? Anyways.
It's Tuesday, the 24th of September.
Yeah, who cares? Anyways.
Wow, okay.
Let's move on.
Spicy.
Energy in the house tonight.
Yes, there is energy.
In the dog house. You know? Okay?
Whoa.
We're sick right now.
Diabolical voice?
We're sick. It's affecting my brain. Mentally. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're both sick. We both, he did the courtesy of bringing home a cold.
Yeah. Yeah,
anyway, I still love him.
Like I always do every single year.
And you can probably hear it in our voices a little bit. I don't know. I'm doing a little bit better. For some reason, he's...
Not my
Yeah, he's had it for a week. I've had it since Thursday. And, yeah.
Yeah.
It sucks. It sucks. And we're doing a lot of sucking snot and spitting out. You know, you got to clear those pipes to be able to sing.
I don't know if they need to know that.
They do.
Yeah.
They need to know everything.
No, you're right.
Remember, we're trying to learn about how to speak to our fan base.
Because we love them.
That one or two people out there, if they even exist. But
no, there's a couple of them.
Oh, I know. It's self-deprecation, and you know, according to Bobby Lee, self-deprecation is a great like comedy line to go down. But what?
What?
Ray Reyes? What's up, brother?
Wait, you're using Bobby Lee as an example?
Yeah, Bobby Lee.
Oh, hell no. This guy's a poser. What the hell?
Hey, what are you talking about, man? I'm trying to be inclusive. I'm including my Asian brethren.
All right, well, then you got to bring up Andrew Santino as well. My redheaded brethren. Soul suckers, you know what I'm saying? So, we're
Redheads are soul suckers.
They
are.
We finally got this freaking album out.
Finally.
It's
up on the website, yeah, dogstare.com. It's on sale right now, and when I say on sale, that means it's available to buy, but also it's discounted from now until October 1st for 33% off, and you can get it for $10. And we put a lot of work into this album. We had a lot. So, for example, one of the things we're going through right now is with our distributor, and I'm not going to name them because their service, for the most part, is pretty good, and I don't have any other distributors I'm working with, but I made an error in data entry with the band stuff, and so when it asked for the artist's name, I was thinking me and Richard here, and so I put our names, and then for the album title, I put Dog Stare dash It Gets Better, which is the name of the album, is It Gets Better. But when you go to look us up, we don't come up always when you're looking for Dog Stare. You end up having to look for our actual names. So,
like our full legal names.
Full legal names.
Our full legal names.
So
that show up on our birth certificate, you know.
With our aliases, as known as. So, which again, mine's Brisco and he's Richard.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I reached out to this distribution company that we're using, and there's no way to go in and edit that information now that the album has been released. So we're stuck with the information like that. So that puts me up against having to create a new release and put in the data correctly this time. Because when I was filling it out, there was a field where you get to that says artist, and it didn't say artist/band/project name. It just said artist name. And so I'm thinking, again, artist. When I think of artist, I think of Prince. I think of Ed Sheeran. I think of, a single person artist. When I think of bands or groups, I think of a band or a group. So I didn't think to put the band name in where it says artist. So, I mean, it was my mistake, but it was also something that I felt was not entirely clear with the registration of this album. So anyway, I'm going to have to pause that one. But I can't do that until I get everything else squared away for this new release. And then I have to wonder if it's going to affect the overall numbers, which I'm sure it is, because the first release is going to have its set of visitors and numbers and downloads or whatever. And now we're going to have the second release, which is going to be identical album. It's just different metadata. So
yeah,
it's kind of a pain in the ass. And so it's also created a delay in the matter. And again, I mean, the service, aside from that, is good. I don't know if this is something within their distribution program that they implement as a policy, or if it's something that is kind of just the industry standard to once you release an album, once that metadata with the ISRC number and all that other stuff and the artist's name and everything is associated and tagged to that ISRC number, which again I can't even reuse because I tried recreating the release and using the same ISRC number, which for anybody that doesn't know, those are basically like serial numbers you attribute to a song. So when it gets played on a radio station or any other form of media where it's a profit run business, that you get paid royalties. And so it's like a serial number for that song. So that anytime that song is played and that ISRC number is identified, it kicks the royalties back to the person that registered that ISRC, which would be us. So anyway, so I may have to create a whole new set of ISRC numbers for this new release. It's kind of a nightmare, and so it's bummed me out a little bit. This is a big deal for me. I'm coming back into the music scene with Richard here, and we're doing this. We're doing it as a duo right now. I've reached out on Bandmix and reached out to several, actually more than several musicians, bass players and drummers, and nobody's gotten back to me still. And I even made a video about that a couple of weeks ago, or a week and a half ago, I guess. Nobody's getting back. We've got our profile up with songs to listen to so that they can get an idea of what we do. And again, I know we're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. I don't have illusions of grandeur like that. But, of the people, and I can see that people are seeing our profile because it'll show you down at the bottom of the page people that have viewed your profile. So I know we're getting viewed by people, and I would imagine that would probably be some listens. But nobody's reached out to us, and also nobody's gotten back to me of drummers and bass players that I reached out to. So I made a video about it calling "Why Do Musicians Suck?" And they do in that regard. They're just very self-absorbed and self-centered. And I guess y'all have to be to some degree. I mean, I am too, but not to the point where I had somebody reach out to me, and to this day, Richard thinks it might have been a bot account. I don't know, but it was some female vocalist that lived here in Tacoma. And she was messaging back and forth with me, and she wasn't actually reading my messages, but nonetheless, I at least provided courtesy replies to her saying I'm not looking for a vocalist. Right now we're looking for a bass player and drummer, and I have no interest in collaborating with her. So
there's no one on Bandmix who has a rack like that looking to be a vocalist for a group. Okay?
Well, okay. Yeah. All right. I mean,
I don't know.
That's
just from me being on the internet since.
What generation are you again?
I'm a Zoomer.
Zoomer. Okay, so maybe that's just generation Zoomer mindset. I'm a generation Xer.
It's just how many bots like.
Which I'm kind of stuck between the boomer and the Zoomer. It's a fucked up place to be. Anyway,
the bot thing is on Instagram. And guess what? It's the same thing. Hot ladies with big racks and giant ass.
Yeah, and that's, ironically, it's funny you say that. I'm getting a bunch of followers on Instagram, and they're all females.
They're all bots.
They're
great. All bots.
So hey,
like, yeah.
Hi to all our bot fans out there.
Hello. Welcome to Earth. Yeah.
So anyway, the distribution process has been kind of a nightmare. And again, you know what? Leave a comment below, please, if you have had any experience with releasing albums and inadvertently putting the incorrect metadata to that release, if you were able to edit it after it was released through the distributor you're using. Again, please leave a comment below because I would like to know if this is something that's exclusive to the company we're using. And you know what? I might as well tell you so that way you know, because you're going to be like, well, who the hell is it? It's Landr, Landr. And I went with them because one of their things that they state that they will do is they will keep your music up on the internet forever, where some of the other ones, like, what was the other one?
DistroKid, CD Baby.
That apparently you have to pay a fee for that, or that after a certain amount of time that the release will get removed or limited or something like that. So anyway, so that's just one aspect, and that's actually the most recent thing, and that was part of what caused a delay of the album release, which we had been shooting for on September 11th, and then that got moved to September 19th, which I had submitted all this on September 17th to Landr, and then I think they had it up live. I see you. They had it up live, I think it was the 19th or the 20th?
Yeah, it was the 19th, and it was on everything. But
yeah, everything.
Our full legal names, and the name of the album is Dog Stare - It Gets Better.
But for example, if you do go to Spotify, if you do type in Dog Stare, it will pull up the Dog Stare project album. It gets
pull
better.
up the album. It will not pull up an artist.
Right.
Because
So
the artists
are us.
are us.
You might be able to find it searching Brisco or Richard.
No,
It has to be the full thing?
It's more than that because there's more
And it's
Briscoes out there.
Brisco for Brisco.
There's more Briscoes and Richards out there.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
Anyway, so we're kind of in this weird like limbo where
it's
either we have to give out our full legal names to be able to find us, or we get this corrected, and the only way I can correct it is by re-releasing the album with the correct metadata. Fun times.
yeah. No, we're just gonna have to do the latter.
Yeah. So anyway,
I'm not. Well, first of all, it's not so much about my full legal names out there. It's more so about someone's gonna have to type out one of our full legal names.
right, exactly.
Last I checked, it's the project.
It's hard enough to remember our band name, Dog Stare.
The project wasn't named Eddie Van Halen and Alex Van Halen. It was just Van Halen.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, or David Lee Roth.
Yeah, you can't even look up us by our last name and pull us up because you have to have the first two names.
Yeah, because of how computers' brains work. My guitar.
Yeah, AI is not quite all that smart.
I can hear it making little tiny.
What's that?
Like.
The guitar?
Yeah, just I can hear it like.
From us talking. Yeah, we both have deep voices, so we're probably resonating.
I was told one time that my voice literally shakes the room with my loud booming voice.
Yeah. He's got a nice guitar. That's a hollow body.
Yeah, it's like
Ibanez.
It's like it's like a Squire.
And it only ended up on one recording.
Yeah, it did, but it ended up on the single.
Fire.
Yeah.
Which you can buy as a single for $2 on the website, or again, the album is for sale right now for $10. It's a 33% discount from what the normal price will be starting October 1st. So for the next week, you can get it for 33% off at $10. Or you can buy the single Fire, or you can buy the single Fire and the album and double down and make us super happy. Excuse me.
Yeah. Excuse me.
It's that cold.
Yeah, it's that cold that I brought home.
So anyway, but we're coming to you from the control room of the Doghouse. I guess recording studios, because
I mean, where was the album recorded?
Here
in this room,
and the record label's Hog Dog Records, which I'm still needing to get an LLC for, and get an LLC for Dog Stare, but I want to get all this other stuff taken care of first. Anyway, we're looking forward to playing some shows. We're actually in contact with a VFW hall up here, and we're going to go and see if we can get a show up there. If not, worst case scenario, we go and do their open mic night next October, the third Thursday of October. They had it the third Thursday for the first time of September, just this past week. And we talked to... What was her name?
Uh-oh,
Let me
we're
see.
yapping. Yap. Yeah. We're yapping.
Oh, Julie.
Julie, okay.
Julie from the VFW hall. She was
Yeah.
out there smoking a cigarette with another nice gentleman who I believe was a Vietnam veteran.
A non-vet.
So, and we asked him about it, and believe it or not, it's someplace that he can get into because he's only 17 and 2 months. Not even.
Almost.
So, we have to be mindful of that for right now, is that, we can't take his underage ass into a place that serves alcohol. They do in that area, but in that VFW, but they actually have a demarcation for the above 21 people can be on one side of this red rope, and then the underage people can be on the other side, which is where the stage is, thank God.
Segregation, I swear.
Segregation. So, but we're coming to you from the studio, and something that me and August... in August, we had talked about, Richard and I, is showcasing some of the equipment that we used to record the album, and the different processes that we went through when recording, because this actually was a very interesting journey, because it started out on our Tascam Model 12s, which are basically multi-track recorders. Here, I'll actually, let me put my guitar down, which This is my. I'm glad I didn't buy a Dave Grohl 335 Guild with a Bigsby on there because I love my whammy action.
It's not like you have a wife to cheat on.
It's not a real whammy though. You know what I'm saying? It's tremolo. It's probably the proper term for it because I don't whammy on it. But what's that?
A Bigsby?
Oh, it's a Guildsby.
Guildsby.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you for Richard for pointing that out. It's not an actual Bigsby. It's a Guild style.
Yeah, it's a Guild Bigsby
Bigsby.
style.
But you have a Bigsby.
I have a legitimate Bigsby because I'm not a poser like my dad. You know.
There you go.
Anyways.
Well, it takes a poser to know a poser. So, oh yeah, I was going to take the camera down real quick.
Just like my history teacher.
Sorry, we're, again, the cold is affecting my memory. Anyway, here is our multi-track recorder. It's a Model 12. And then right behind it, over here, is our preamp stuff. And yes, it's Behringer. I know probably a lot of you people are like, oh, you cheap ass. And yes, I am. But that's a tube preamp. Then you got your compressor limiter, and it also has a tube emulator in there as well. And then you have your 15 band EQ, which is stereo, so you got 15 on the left and 15 on the right. I'll tell you what, for the money that I spent on these, and I mean they're cheap by comparison to some of the stuff that you can actually get, such as your, oh my god,
there's Tascam outboard gear, right? Or my
there probably is, but I'm thinking about the high end stuff like SSL and Neve and all these other different company preamps and stuff like that. So that's certainly not on that level. But listen to the album and tell me what you think about the equipment that we were using. I think it's great. And then this is my vocal mic right here. This actually is something I bought back at Guitar Center in St. Louis when I worked there in 2003. And this is a Groove Tubes GT55 FET condenser mic, which is what we're using right now to get the audio through OBS. And this has been my vocal mic for years, and I really enjoy the sound of it. It is a little mid-range heavy, but I think it captures the essence of my voice pretty well. So, and then there's, we've got right behind it a couple of 57s. There's one laying right there on the table, and then one on a stand. That's what we use for our guitar mics. And then behind me over here, I've got this, believe it or not, this Fee-Fine mic. And it's a really nice condenser mic. It's got LED on it, which, I'm not neither here nor there on it. But for a dynamic mic, oh yeah, it's not condenser.
I was going to say
dynamic.
It's a dynamic.
Dynamic mic. It does really well, but we're not using that right now.
There's my dad's forehead.
Yeah, there's my forehead. And then, oh yeah. There's not only the forehead, but just this whole thing right here. It's like a mug. It's like right there. Anyway, and that's my hat collection back there, and of course my nice shirt, and then the counterweight of a bag with all our maintenance stuff. Yeah, it's all right. You know what? He's got the ism. It's all right. I'm not sure where he lands on the spectrum.
He's got the schism. Yeah, he's got the. Yeah, yep.
So let me flip this back over.
There's an orange little 1x8. Too late now. My dad's already got it back up on the stand. It's the end of the world.
Oh, the orange amp.
Yeah, I'm struggling over here. Jeez.
Knocking this thing around. So we don't want to keep you too long. We just wanted to share with you about the whole distribution thing. The fact that the album is finally out. You can go to dogstair.com, buy the entire album. It will come as a link that you can then download the zip file that contains the entire album along with the artwork. And then, what else? Help me out here. We're trying to get ready to do some live shows.
Yeah. And did we ever talk about if we get enough orders on this album that we might burn some?
Oh
CDs?
yes, that's right. I think we did mention it at one time.
My Spanish teacher wants to buy the album, but he wants a physical copy.
Okay, well there you go. So if there's anybody else out there that prefers CDs over the electronic version of these MP3s,
trust me, I get it. I completely understand that.
we would have to come up with some money to do that though. But I can actually put up a pre-order on the website to where once we hit a certain number of pre-orders, to where I can then be able to fund having those printed. And when I do something like that, I want to be able to have them printed in a professional manner. And I mean, it's not going to be the most expensive service or even layout, because I've done this before, as I've showed you probably in past videos. But back in St. Louis, back in the day, I used to be in a band called Super Conscious. It was my band, and this was the album that we put out. And I had sat down with a design company, and we worked on all this stuff on, this was back in 1997. So this is back before, computing power on the consumer level was really good enough to do this kind of stuff. And I just didn't have the knowledge or expertise, and then, for example, there's a picture of my mom with Elvis, and my mom is this lady right there. That's her looking up at the king of peanut butter and banana sandwiches. So, but I put $10,000 into this album back in '97, and that was a lot of money back then. And I made back maybe a couple $100 on this. I still have how many boxes of these albums? 6, 7, 8, something like that. In each box. Yeah.
Oh yeah, boxes. Right.
Yeah, and I've got
a lot of those out there.
I've got 20. I think it's 20 or 25 CDs per box, and then I've got like 8 of them left. So that tells you right there how many I have. I originally had ordered 1,000. But I do have experience with this kind of stuff. So I'm more than happy to kick out another type of product. And nowadays it is probably cheaper to get this kind of stuff done. And if anything, you and I may be able to do it, but we would still need the money to be able to print the stuff to the proper media or format, along with printing the discs in the proper way, and not just printing them on blank discs that you buy from.
We need something
where we're actually screen printing the graphics or the whatever on the actual disc itself, much like the Super Conscious album, which this is just the sleeve for the CD thing. But I did have a.
Yeah, but like what Stone Temple Pilots did, the beach ball.
Beach ball, right.
Tiny music, that kind of stuff.
We just want to make it so that it's an extension of our artistic endeavor as musicians, and this, would be our branching out into.
And we'd make it so that when you see that disc, it'd be like, oh yeah, that's it gets better disc,
Yep. Yeah, so that way it just like, believe me, in these Super Conscious discs, when they came out, you see this lime green color here. The spine and the tray of the CD that held the CD when you closed the case was lime green, and they stick out like a sore thumb. I actually have seen them back when I was in St. Louis. I saw them in used CD stores, and you could see the green spine stick out like a sore thumb, and I knew that my disc became a used CD.
Yeah.
Hey, at least it's got a chance at a second life. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up in the doghouse here, and we got a little tune for you we want to play out with this video. It's a really special tune that we took a lot of time in thinking about the nature of this song and the lyrics and the message we were trying to send.
It's so profound. It'll make you cry. Try not to get emotional. I might get emotional here.
I'm getting emotional. God dang. Anyway, you ready?
Gonna need the plot.
G, say.
The fucking biggest beat for this one.
Okay, all right. And on 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm sick. 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 Yeah! I'm sick. The snot tastes like burning lava. Stuck in my throat and can't do nothing about it. I'm sick. I'm sick. Yeah! I'm sick. I'm sick. Where's the Bigsby?
The joke was that I wasn't going to use it.
Oh, he's sick. He's sick.
Get down with the sickness. Come on, get down with the sickness.
I think it's time for a chord change. He's sick. He's sick. He's sick. He's sick. Get ready. Give me D.
D.
Not that kind. Give me D. Out of tune.
I'm out of tune.
Well, then let's go back to G.
We're going back to G.
Which is really G sharp.
F sharp.
F sharp.
Wait, D sharp. E.
No, it's
F sharp.
thank God it's not F. Why? Because Dime says
Semi-gayity.
oh, he's sick.
You know, it's funny.
He's sick.
He's not even actually really playing in F there because
He's sick.
he played in D standard.
He's sick.
So he's actually just playing D
He's
sharp
sick.
when he's right here.
He's sick.
This is D sharp. So he's calling
He's sick.
He's calling D sharp semi-gayity.
We miss you, Dime.